Okay, get ready to dive into the world of bananas. You might think you know bananas, but trust me, there's a lot more to uncover.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm excited to dig into all these sources you've given me. We've got scientific articles, agricultural reports, even some pretty heated social media debates about bananas.
It's a real mix. It's going to be fun.
So, our mission is to peel back all the layers, see what makes this fruit so important, and maybe even answer the big question: is the Cavendish banana's reign coming to an end? When I was a kid, the banana we ate was completely different. It was called the Gros Michel,
Oh, interesting.
and it got completely wiped out by disease. And now, well, now we're facing something similar with the Cavendish, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, it's like history might be repeating itself. But before we get to all the doom and gloom, maybe we should start by looking at why bananas are so popular in the first place.
Yeah, okay, so starting with the obvious, bananas are, well, they're everywhere. Seriously, who doesn't love a good banana? But it's the scale of banana consumption that's mind-blowing. Over 100 billion bananas eaten every year, globally.
Wow, that's a lot of bananas.
Yeah, it's a global phenomenon.
And it's not just about the taste or how convenient they are. There's more to it.
Right, and one of the articles pointed this out. It's actually the fourth most important food crop in the world, right after wheat, rice, and corn. I mean, I had no idea.
It's true, and for something like 400 million people, bananas are absolutely crucial for food security. In some parts of the world, they make up 25% of a family's daily calorie intake.
Wow, so it's not just a snack for a lot of people, it's like a staple.
Yeah.
You know what they say, a banana a day keeps the doctor away. Maybe there's some truth to that. What do you think?
Well, there's definitely something to it. It's not just an old wives' tale. I mean, you probably already know that bananas are packed with potassium.
Yeah, I do.
But a single banana can have around 400 milligrams of potassium.
Okay, 400 milligrams. What does that actually mean for me, though?
Well, think of it this way. If you're someone who gets leg cramps after exercising, that potassium is going to help. It's crucial for regulating blood pressure, muscle function, all that. And studies have shown that getting enough potassium can lower your risk of heart disease by a lot, like up to 27%.
Wow, okay, maybe there's something to that whole banana a day thing after all. So potassium, that's the star of the show, right?
It's a big one, but it's not the only thing. They're also a good source of vitamin C and B6.
Okay, cool.
The research I was looking at had some pretty amazing stats about how many bananas people eat. In Uganda, Rwanda, and Cameroon, they eat over 200 kilos of bananas per person per year.
Whoa, that's a lot of
I
bananas.
know, right? And in the Philippines, it's around 60 kilos a year.
Okay, so we've established bananas, they're popular, they're nutritious, and super important for millions around the world, but we can't ignore the elephant in the room, or maybe it's the fungus in the plantation. We got to talk about Panama disease, specifically this TR4 strain that's threatening the Cavendish.
Right, we do.
To understand how serious this is, I think we need to understand how it works.
Absolutely.
It's like, imagine this silent attacker in the soil going after the roots of the banana plant.
Cutting off its lifeline, basically.
It's pretty scary stuff, and from what I've read, once this TR4 takes hold, you can't get rid of it. Is that right?
That's the really tough part, yeah. It spreads through the soil and can stay there for decades, making it almost impossible to contain.
So it's not just like a local problem, it's popping up in banana-producing regions all over the world.
Exactly.
All the articles we looked at were pretty clear. TR4 is a serious global threat to the Cavendish. And this isn't just about losing our favorite fruit, it's about the livelihood of millions of banana growers.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
The economic and social consequences could be huge. I mean, the global banana industry is worth billions and employs millions, especially in developing countries. If TR4 spreads, it could have a domino effect on the whole supply chain.
You're right. It's a bit scary to think about.
So the big question is, what are we doing about it? What's the plan?
Well, one strategy that's getting a lot of attention and some controversy is genetic modification.
Oh, right. GMO bananas.
Yeah, scientists are basically trying to create a Cavendish banana that can fight off TR4.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, GMO bananas, but I mean, if it could save the banana, that'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
It could be a game changer for sure. But there are definitely valid concerns about GMOs, and we need to consider those carefully.
Right. I was reading about some of the potential downsides, like
Yeah.
unintended consequences for the environment, creating super resistant fungi, that kind of thing. And then there's the whole public perception of GMOs. It's a complex issue.
It is. There's no easy answer.
So we've gone from this simple fruit, the banana, to this really complicated web of global trade. Food security, scientific challenges. It's amazing how something we take for granted can be so fragile.
It is, and this is really just the beginning. There's so much more to discover about the banana. Its past, present, and future.
Well, I'm hooked. What other secrets does the banana world hold? Let's peel back more layers after the break.
Sounds good to me.
So before the break, we were talking about GMO bananas and using them to fight TR4. It's kind of like scientists giving the banana a superpower or something.
Yeah, it's cutting-edge research, but developing a whole new banana variety. Well, that's not a quick fix. It takes time.
One of the reports we have said it takes like 5 to 10 years to actually get a new banana variety out there. That's a long time to wait, especially with this disease spreading.
And even then, there's no guarantees. Things can go wrong during trials. You've got to deal with regulations. And then there's whether people will actually eat them. Remember, GMOs, well, not everyone's on board with that.
So it's more than just the science. There's all these social and economic factors too. Are there any other options being looked at? Or are we putting all our bananas in one basket?
Good one. Luckily, scientists are looking at different approaches. Some of them focus on managing the disease instead of trying to wipe it out completely.
So more like learning to live with it.
Exactly. One promising area is improving soil health. Think of it like healthy soil is like a strong immune system for the banana plant. It can actually help stop TR4 from growing so easily, making it less likely to infect the plants.
Oh, so it's like giving the banana plant its own defenses.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Sure. There's also research into biocontrol agents, which are basically good microorganisms that can attack and kill harmful fungi like TR4.
So it's like a microscopic battle happening in the soil, good guys versus bad guys.
That's a good analogy. But just like with GMOs, these biocontrol solutions need a lot of research. And testing, we need to make sure they're actually effective and safe for the environment.
It sounds like there's no easy answer here. It just shows how complex nature is and how hard it is to solve these agricultural problems.
Yeah, it's true. And we have to remember that the future of the banana, it's not just a scientific issue. It affects all of us in the real world.
We talk about how important bananas are as food for millions, but there's the economic side too. If banana production dropped, what would happen?
The impact would be huge. Like we said, the banana industry is worth billions. A drop in production would mean people losing jobs, prices going up. It could even disrupt the entire global food system.
And then there's our own diets. Bananas are such an easy, affordable, healthy snack. Imagine not being able to grab a banana anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit unsettling. One of the sources we looked at mentioned something interesting, did you know? The Cavendish banana, the one we eat all the time. It wasn't always the main banana.
Really? I thought the Cavendish was like the original banana.
It might seem that way, but there was another one before it called the Gros Michel.
The Gros Michel. Never heard of it.
It was the most popular banana in the early 1900s. People loved the taste and texture. But then it got hit by an earlier version of Panama disease. In the mid-1900s, it basically disappeared.
Wow. So the banana we eat today, it's like the backup banana.
It is. And it makes you wonder, if the Cavendish gets wiped out by TR4, what's next? Will there be another banana ready to take its place?
Or will we have a future without bananas? That's a big question. This whole deep dive has been really eye-opening. I had no idea the world of bananas was so dramatic.
It's a story of resilience, adaptation, nature, and human ingenuity. And it's definitely not over yet.
I'm ready for more. What else is there to learn about the future of the banana?
Let's find out.
And we're back, ready to wrap up our banana adventure. We've talked about the banana's global impact, the threats it's facing. But now, the big question, what does the future hold for the banana? Is it doomed?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball. Predicting the future is tough, especially with something as complicated as the global food system.
True, but we've seen how resilient nature can be. I mean, look at the Cavendish. It took over after the Gros Michel was wiped out. Maybe there's another banana out there just waiting for its chance.
That's a good point, and it brings up a really important idea, diversity. You might be surprised to know there are over 1,000 different kinds of bananas out there.
1,000? Seriously, I feel like I only ever see like 5 kinds in the store.
That's because most of the bananas we eat come from just a handful of varieties, with the Cavendish being the most popular, and that's part of the problem. This lack of diversity, it makes us really vulnerable to diseases like TR4.
So, is the solution as simple as eating more kinds of bananas? If we started eating different varieties, wouldn't that take the pressure off the Cavendish?
You're on the right track. Embracing banana diversity is really important if we want a sustainable banana industry. But of course, there are challenges.
Like what?
Well, a lot of those other banana varieties, they're just not as easy to sell. They might not last as long, he might
Hmm.
be hard to transport, or they might not even have that familiar taste and texture that people are used to.
So it's not enough to just find new bananas. We have to convince people to eat them.
Exactly. We need to be more open to trying new flavors, new textures, and embrace all the variety that nature has to offer.
You know what? You're right. I'm totally guilty of sticking to the same old fruits and veggies. Maybe it's time for me to try some of those more exotic bananas. What about you? Any favorites?
Hmm. I'm a big fan of the manzano banana. It's got this slight apple flavor to it, hence the name manzano, and the texture is really creamy.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. So besides diversifying what we eat, what else might shape the future of the banana?
Technology is becoming a big factor. We talked about GMOs. But there are other advancements that could really change things. One area that's getting a lot of attention is precision agriculture.
Precision agriculture, that sounds pretty high tech.
It is. It's all about using sensors, data analysis, and tech to improve farming. It's like giving farmers a real-time, detailed look at what's happening with their crops.
So instead of treating a whole field the same way, farmers can focus on individual plants.
Exactly. They can spot diseases early, use pesticides and fertilizers more effectively, even manage water usage better. It's about making farming more efficient and sustainable.
That's amazing, but can smaller banana farms in developing countries, can they use this technology?
That's a good question. Technology can be expensive, and it needs training and infrastructure. But there are groups working to make these technologies available to farmers all over the world, helping them improve their yields and their lives.
That's good to hear. So it seems like the future of the banana, it's not set in stone. It's a story of challenges, but also of resilience, innovation, people working together.
I agree. It reminds us that even simple foods have complex stories, and that our choices as consumers can have a big impact all over the world.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to how connected everything is. From the soil to the lab to what we buy at the store, it's actually kind of inspiring to think that we can all play a part in shaping the future of food.
It is. Maybe the next time you pick up a banana, you'll take a moment to think about the journey it took to get to you, from the farmer who grew it to the scientists working to protect it.
That's a great way to put it. This deep dive has been a real treat. We've peeled back the layers of the banana and discovered a whole world of fascinating information. And who knows, maybe we've even inspired some of our listeners to try a new kind of banana.
I hope so. There's a whole world of banana diversity out there.
Well, that's it for our banana deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.